Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Samus Prime. I'm Jason, and I'm really excited to finally be bringing some new content to the channel. Taking a break because there were some things I needed to take care of in my personal life, but also there was some upgrades I needed to make to my setup in order to really bring content in the light that I wanted to. And one of the things was obviously my streaming studio. If you've seen that video, you know that I've had that done for about a month now, and it's really took a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of resources, but it's turned out really good, and I'm really excited because now I'm able to be in this comfortable space that's really cool and hopefully gives you guys a better quality stream. Also, I had to upgrade some parts in my PC. I upgraded my graphics card to an EVGA RTX 3070. I picked up a 4K webcam, a Go XLR Mini, as well as a Stream Deck, and together I've been able to use these to kind of up my presentation value a bit, and hopefully you guys enjoy this new presentation format. I'm really excited to continue to work on this content and bring you better stuff. So really excited to jump back into Echoes too, because Echoes is one of my favorite, if not favorite, Prime game. And so, you know, I've done some things to also bring this in a higher level of quality, which means 4K. So yeah, man, I'm really excited to get started. Let's go ahead and get started with the gameplay. Another thing that I'm also happy that I'm able to do is use Reshade now without any effect on the frame rate or the performance. And I've kind of changed how I use Reshade. If you can tell here, I can actually turn Reshade off. And as you see, it's not a huge jump. I know in the past, I used to use a lot of bloom and kind of blow out the light too much, and some of the saturation would be overdone. But I feel like now I've been able to kind of just bring out what's already there, an accent with these lighting effects and things to give it a little bit more realism. But yeah, it's looking great. Let's get started. Another thing I'm excited to be able to do is finally bring commentary with my gameplay. I've had a lot of requests. I did a quiz or a poll not too long ago on the Discord server and asked if people preferred commentary or not, and actually overwhelmingly people said they'd rather have me do commentary. Like 60%, 70% of people would prefer commentary. So for those of you who prefer non-commentary, I'm still going to do video gameplay without commentary as well. But you know, I also, another reason why I didn't finish the prior Echoes playthrough was because my settings changed, the way I use Reshade changed. I'm not using RTGI because I don't feel like it looks that good with these older games. It tends to make everything look really polygonal, and it kind of shows the low poly count in the game. It makes it more obvious, especially with this particular game with Echoes, because you have all of these fog and transparency effects and things that it doesn't look good with ambient occlusion. So I've kind of decided, plus performance too. It's just there's just a lot of reasons why RTGI didn't make it into this series. So if you're wondering, no, I'm not using ray trace global illumination. And you know, the fact that I can use Reshade now with several shaders, I think I'm using like a handful of them, without touching the performance at all is actually really cool. And for those of you who are curious about my Reshade settings, I'm actually going to be doing a series of videos on the Aether Primus channel for our community that's going to cover my settings for this game. And I'm also going to be going into Reshade settings for other games. So I'm actually really excited to start doing that as well. Another really cool thing is that we're able to go into menus now. I'm able to, oh, I love killing these guys with the boost ball. I got them both. Yeah, we're able to, we're able to go into our menus now and not have the performance issues we've had in the past with Dolphin. And that is also thanks to my new graphics card. Everything runs so much better now. It's really amazing, and be able to finally bring this to people in 4K. Yeah, it's exciting. feel like this will be one of the better looking presentations of this game available on YouTube when it's all said and done. And then hopefully one day we'll have custom texture work in this game as well. All new textures, that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I'll go into my Reshade settings, as I said, in a special video for the Primus channel. And because one of the things I did actually is I figured with upscaling, not just upscaling textures, but the actual upscaling of the resolution and going into native HD resolutions like 1080p, 1440p, and 4K, you get almost too clean of an image. And so I actually had to do some things to dirty up the image a little, because I feel like it loses a little bit of that grit, that dark feel that this game is supposed to have. So I've done several things to remedy that. One in particular was use film grain. And some people might say, why would you ever use film grain? Some people really hate film grain, but I've used it in a way that I feel like it adds that grittiness back to the game that you kind of lose when you go to an HD resolution. So again, be on the lookout for that on the Aether Primus channel soon. And I can't tell you just how much it makes me happy to have this kind of performance in this game finally. It's literally flawless. I've had almost no hiccups since upgrading. Oh, I did want to scan that. See, just being able to scan everything and just how smooth it all works now, the menus, it's awesome. That loading transition screen is flawless now. Oh, those textures are muddy. You know, there's been a lot of talk lately about AI upscale textures. There's nothing new, but it seems like whenever somebody new finds them, it becomes a new discussion all over again. We've had this discussion many times in Team NPR, and I can tell you that although I'm not completely against AI upscaling, obviously, it is not anywhere near the quality of the textures we're doing for NPR. Doing completely original texture work, it just blows AI upscaling out of the water. I can show you guys why. And especially with this ground, if you look at that floor, it is definitely sharper, and from a distance doesn't look bad. But if you look at that like directly here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. So if you look directly down at these textures and look closely, let's go somewhere where there's a little more light. And yes, I am using Primehack, of course. It's the only way to play this game on PC. I mean, honestly, it's my favorite way to play the game, period, now. I've got a custom created UI for it as well for my profile. And that's something I'll be making available when NPR Phase 1 releases. That'll be something that you guys will be able to use. Alright, so let's get out here where there's more light, and then I can show you guys a little bit more closely what I'm talking about with the textures. You can see it in here, but it's just darker. Oh, right here is pretty light. Actually, I think I'm getting close to outside, and then we can really get a good look. Okay, I think once we step outside here, yep. All right. This is also a great place to see what I've done with Reshade. Really looks natural, I feel. All right, so let's take a look at these AI upscale textures. So as you see there, let's take it away. This is original textures. It's pretty muddy. And you know, things off in the distance, when you use the upscale textures, and even the ground when you're looking a little further away, doesn't look too bad. It's definitely more detail. The problem when you upscale something that's so small as a 256 by 256 texture, which most of these are, there's some that are 512 by 512, but a lot of these are 256 by 256, and so when you're upscaling to a HD resolution, which is 4 times that resolution, you get things like this. You see the artifacting, the lines. It doesn't really know what to do with all that fine detail, and so it just does its best job at guessing. But as you can see, that is definitely more of a dirt, rocky type look versus that, which honestly I don't know how to describe that. It almost looks like tree bark or something. So AI upscales, although they can do a lot for your presentation, it can help and make the game quote unquote better than what it is originally, at least sharper. You lose a lot because the computer is a computer. It's not an artist. It can't decide, okay, well, this needs to be grainier, this needs to be, you know, it's just taking its best shot at it. It's taking a good, you know, programmed, educated guess, if you will. And so you have things that just don't look great upscaled. Some things don't look bad. And it also depends on the job that someone does with the upscaler, because of course you can program the upscale. You can, you know, get more out of it. But most people don't go through those lengths, and so you have some very, very rough upscales. So there was a YouTuber, actually, the reason why I mentioned this is a YouTuber by the name of Super Metal Dave, who had done a video just recently about AI upscale, you know, and about the rumored trilogy coming to Switch, and he felt like this most likely what Nintendo will do for the Switch version would be to just upscale the texture, to have a studio do that. And I actually agree with him, based mainly off of the job that Nintendo did with the Super Mario All-Stars, 3D All-Stars, and they cut a lot of corners. You know, there's not a lot of new texture work other than the UI. You know, the rest is all just upscaled stuff, and so you can do a decent job with upscale. The difference with that game and this one is that there's a lot more detail in this game. You know, the Mario games are cartoony, so the texture work is very simple and basic, and the colors are what are more important than the actual texture sometimes. You have, you know, drawn lines and things in the Mario that can look wrong if it's upscaled wrong, but this stuff, you know, this takes an artist to look at and determine what a rock should look like, and more importantly, what a rock should look like in Metroid Prime, because of the amount of polygons you have and things. It's going to limit the amount of detail you want to put in something, because if you make it too detailed, it really sticks out like a sore thumb and starts to make the low polys look more evident, and you don't want that. So with the NPR project, you know, we're literally taking each texture, looking at them, and making artistic and educated guesses with the, you know, trying to stay as true to the game's aesthetic as possible. And so we're able to make those calls and say, hey, this needs to look more like this, or this is too much detail, we need to kind of dumb this down. And by doing that, we're able to get a result that is, you know, more like what a modern game would look like, and a true remaster. NPR is absolutely a true remaster in that sense, in that it completely upgrades your textures. You know, it's the 100% original, made from scratch textures, and not upscaled versions of the original textures that Retro did. So I just kind of wanted to go over that, you know, because like I said, there's nothing wrong, and of course I'm using AI upscale textures in this game along with custom ones that I've personally worked on. And there's nothing wrong with that presentation, even just to play, and it looks better. overall, sure. Especially shots like this, you see the detail in that apparatus there. It looks great from a distance. And then I can show you too, like some things like these metal containers. So you see how ugly that is. Like, let me turn this off. That's Reshade. So there is the original texture. So these are obviously lights. They should be square, right? These should be square. You have some bleeding because of I guess they're trying to mimic a global light or some kind of an illumination coming off of this. And so if you see when we go to an HD upscale, I'm sorry, they're getting rid of Reshade there. So there's the AC upscale. You can see, or AI upscale, sorry. You see how muddy they are originally. Sure, they're sharper. Some of the shapes retain their original shape to some degree. That's not really a perfect circle though. See, I turn it off, it's blurry. Sharpened. They sharpen those lines. Here too, you can see where the red bleeds, and that's supposed to be a light. So kind of like an emissive, if you will. It's supposed to be emitting light, or it appeared to be anyway. And all it really looks like is just a muddy mess. See, here even blurry, you can tell these are lights, and this is probably the red light emitting the glow from that light. And you go to the sharper image, you see even the lights don't retain their same shape. They're very choppy here, especially too. So that's why AI upscaling is definitely not the answer. They're not the answer, and it's not the best way to make sure these games are able to be played forever and look their best, you know. Obviously a complete remake and a new engine and a modern engine would be the best, but I don't feel like even that's necessary, because when you see the new update to NPR, you guys are gonna see just how transformative. See, look at those, they're so ugly. Just how transformative what we're doing is. We're literally making this engine almost look like it's an Unreal 2, 3, or 4 engine, you know? And it's because of the force lighting and the things that Tino was able to do with the Shiruka Dolphin. This is actually a regular Dolphin, QT Dolphin, that I'm using for this playthrough, because I'm not using force lighting in order, you know, we're not using material maps, so we don't need force lighting. So I decided to use QT to test the newest version for Sir Mangler, Primehack QT, that is, which is a custom version of Dolphin, specifically customized for Metroid Prime Trilogy, and it is amazing. I'm telling you guys, there's no other way to play this game on PC. I've got a Dolphin bar, I've used a Wii remote. This is a million times better than even that. One of the benefits of my new graphics card is now I can scan and not slow down. I can go into menus. It's so awesome. Scan this guy. Let's take a look at these models too. It's another thing I want to do in this playthrough, is kind of take a look at some of the models. Now that we have this level of performance where it doesn't chop up the minute we go into the menus, and take a look at some of these models and see that they're not bad. And again, even the AI upscales, textures don't look too bad, but an artist is going to be able to look at that texture and make it look a million times better than that. And it's subjective, but may even be able to make it look better than Retro did originally, because I can tell you they cut some serious corners. Did we? No, I didn't get a chance to take a look at their models. We'll see them again. Yeah, and then not to bash Retro, I mean, this was one of the first huge games that they ever did, but you know, they cut some corners for sure, especially in the first game. The improvements on Echo is actually substantial. The textures are a lot better. Everything is just so much better looking. Okay. Now I don't think I'm gonna read all those. Oh yes, I love the outside. I get to see this ugly cutscene, pre-rendered crap. And you can see even the metal on Samus looks better, and that's because it's actually using some custom textures from NPR that Ray 3D did. He did some amazing metal HDRI textures that make everything in the game look more metallic that is metal, and I'm using those in echoes, and it makes a huge difference. I'll show you guys more closely when we get back to gameplay. Wish I could skip these. The performance in these cutscenes are so bad. Just the low resolution just looks horrible. Each unit was doing fine, no problems, until they appeared. I love this part. I love the design of the GF troopers in this game. Ray 3D actually pointed that out when I was playing this the other day and he was watching. Just how much better the design of these the troopers are in this game versus Federation Force. That whole cutesy, big-headed design they decided to go for that game was so bad. Actually, I would love to redo the textures for this DLC. And hopefully we will. You know, hopefully we'll get to a point when NPR is about done that we can move on to this game. And a lot of the things we're doing in NPR will actually be able to carry over to this game, the workflow being the main thing, but even some of the textures, as I had stated, I'm actually using some of them. I'm going to show you the difference, especially in the metal and like her morph ball. And her suit too there, it's a pretty big difference. Let's go to her morph ball and I'll show you. So you see the metal reflecting the light and just how much better that looks. So let's take a look at it, the original. That's the original. And as you can see, it's a lot duller. Let's see if I can get right. Oh, that light right there. So you can see that is a stark contrast for sure. Oh, okay, let's scan these guys now. I want to get a look at their model. Oh yeah, that looks good. The animation and the model work in this game is great. It really is. The way these things move, and it's really awesome. It's amazing for a game so old. So when I do say things about retro cutting corners, and this stuff that I didn't even realize until diving into NPR as deeply as I have and working with guys who actually know game engines and lighting engines and things, we can see, you know, I've learned a lot about just how to cut corners, I guess. But back then, you know, the corners they cut were for different reasons than we would now. We don't have the limitations that they had back then. So there are things like sharing, certain resources or textures. For instance, in NPR, we found out that Samus visor lights, see that little blue glow around her helmet? That is a texture. And actually, on Metroid Prime, that texture is shared with the aura of Talon 4. So when you're at the beginning of the game, you can see Talon 4 from space on the Orpheon. You can see a blue glow around the planet, and that's actually the same texture used for Samus visor, that glow. So if you change the color, it will affect just one part too, not the entire aura of the planet, but just one part of it. So it's really funny how they did that in order to save. I don't know if it's a draw call or just a texture call or whatever, but they're basically trying to save performance. And there's a lot of that in the first game. I'm not sure about echoes, but I'm pretty sure they cut corners here too, because they were able to push the hardware of the GameCube a lot further with this game. It's apparent. I mean, it looks so much better than the original. And it's on the same console, so they obviously learned a lot. Man, I love how this looks in 4K though. It just looks so clean. See, and I've done a pretty good job with the reshade, I feel, to where it accents every room without changing anything. Or, you know, the problem with reshade and just shaders in general is they look great in one room but not the next. You know, you can get the lighting just right, and you can, especially with like RTGI, you can get it looking so great and use some SSR and get some nice reflections and get everything looking amazing in one part of the game, and then you go into the next room and it's all blown out, or it just doesn't look right. It's too dark, whatever. And we're actually working on a solution for that, for NPR. Where we won't have that issue, but for now it is an issue. And so I feel like I've been able to dial in my settings to the point where it can look, you know, it looks good in every room. Because once again, I'm just accenting the lighting. I'm not trying to do too much. Dude, one thing I really love about this game over the original is the architecture and the design of the world. I love Talon 4, don't get me wrong, especially the Chozo ruins. But this, look at this. This is amazing. I love the level design in this game. And the aesthetic, the art design for the levels, it's amazing. It's similar to Talon 4, but different for sure. Which it should be, because it's a different race of people, different planet, different culture, so it's gonna have different architecture. All right, we're getting closer. So I think I'm just trying to make it to Torvus Bog. Yeah, we'll go to Torvus Bog in this first video, and then we'll maybe do most of Torvus in the next one. Hopefully, I guess we'll see. Alright, I can't wait to scan these dudes and see the... Take a closer look at the models for the... Oh, actually, we already scanned these guys. It's the Alpha Splinter. I'm gonna take a closer look at the models for that. There we go. Let's take a look at this model. This is the Splinter Alpha. Not bad for a almost 15-year-old video game. See, it's the same model, but they did a good job at doing just enough of those textures. Actually, they look like they cut out the eye area. Or maybe that is just the texture. They did a really good job with that though. Man, my keyboard's so clicky. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing that in the video. I've got the gate on. I've got some things on that hopefully improve some points. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to see something here. All right. Let's go visit this guy. Yeah, the aesthetic and level design of this is so awesome. I love this. So you can see in his face, the AI upscaling's ugly. This is how just gross that looks. Like a completely redrawn texture there would look amazing. You are our only hope, Samus. I'm sure she's heard that somewhere before. Okay, we can get to Torvus now. Take a look at his texture model. Does not look bad. Oh, I can even look at the models of some of the bigger objects in the game. Pretty cool. Alright, and that's just some lore. I'm not gonna read all that, but I don't know if you guys want me to, I guess I can. Just let me know. Alright, on our way to Torvus, let's go. So that's literally a particle. I don't think that's a texture at all. It's a lighting and particle effect. And here we go. Back here. Oh wow, see, I couldn't kill him. That was weird. Once he starts that transformation, you can't really kill them anymore until they've completely transformed. You have to either kill them before or after the transformation. You can't kill them during. So it was interesting. I actually never noticed that before. And we got our first energy tank. Alright, let's get to Torvus. Yeah, those cutscenes are nice too. Those are definitely an improvement over the cutscenes in the first game. Warrior J Fame, huh? Or JF me? I do not know how you would say that. Very interesting name though. the missiles. Alright, so as we get closer here to the end of the video, I guess I should tell you guys I'm going to be streaming again. I'm going to start streaming on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific. So, if you're interested, definitely check me out. I will be announcing what game I'm going to be streaming here shortly on the Discord server, so I go over there, keep an eye on the channel, and on my stream. But yeah, Wednesday nights, I'm excited to be able to stream again every week. As you can see, the reshade settings aren't causing too much bloom or saturation in any one room. I feel like it accents this room just as well as it did the other rooms. And this room has a more yellowish golden tint to it because of the sky, and it still looks great. An issue I used to have was some of these clouds would get blown out and it would just wouldn't look as good as I feel this looks. But yeah, this model is pretty cool. Let's take a look at this one. See what I mean about the animations though? Very simple, but just effective, great work. That looks really good. Obviously it's not as animated as something in a newer game would be, but it definitely looks good and it holds up after all these years. I love this explosion too. The sound too, it's so gnarly. Alright guys, well it looks like we made it to where I'm going to leave off for this first video in this new Let's Play series. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to continue to bring awesome content every week. So look for a new episode of this Echoes Let's Play to go up each week. Also look forward to my stream on Wednesday nights. Again, that's at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific. So I hope to see you guys next Wednesday. And until then, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great one.